So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, as usual, we will be discussing Indian Express newspaper. We will try to cover all important articles. So let's start with the discussion. When we are talking about the outline of the program, we will be starting with the practice question and then we will be moving to the fact of the day. Then we will go for the constitution, know our constitution, wherein we will be discussing certain aspects of the constitution. Okay. Then we will be talking about these important articles which are there in the discussion. One is clause 6 of the Assam Accord. Okay. Now there was this accord which was signed between three parties. Okay, and way back then in 1985, at that point of time when we are talking about, there are certain there was one clause which was entered into the Assam Accord, and for the implementation there were various committees which was there, and recently there was this report of the committee which has been talked about again, because report was given back some 4 years back. Now this report is been talked about for the implementation, so we will be talking about that. Okay. Then moving further, we will be talking about the 2 years of the project Cheetah. You know that in the Kuno we have introduced Cheetah, we have discussed this various times. Okay. Now we will be talking about this particular 2 years aspect. We will see that what is the analysis of the last 2 years. Okay. Investing further, Karnataka withdraws the general consent of CBI. When we talk about CBI, that is a, you can say, investigating agency is there at the center. So when we talk about this agency, when it goes for the any kind of investigation in the state, in that case they have to take a consent. Okay, that consent can be specific or general. Okay, so when there is a general consent, that means that CBI does not have to go for consent again and again. Okay, Karnataka earlier had given this general consent, but recently they have withdrawn it. We will be giving a passing reference to that. Okay, now looking at the front page over here, you will be seeing China confirms LAC talks progress, some consensus is there. Okay, so in the last when we are talking about yesterday's paper as well, so there was this article with respect to India and China. We will be discussing that. Okay, and we will try to understand the situation at the borders. Okay, now what kind of progress has happened, that is not clear yet. Okay, but the thing is, we will be looking at the problem, we will be looking at the specific areas. Okay. Then moving further, here you can say assets of only 13% of High Court judges in public domain, most of them from 3 courts. Okay, so we will be seeing that why is that a problem, that why people or the, you can say, high courts are not sharing their asset, what are their argument. Okay, and what is the legal mandate which is actually talking about the declaration of these you can say assets. Okay, so we will talk about that. And then here you can say, first time since 2019 Erdogan skips mention of Kashmir in UN speech. Okay, Erdogan is basically, when we talk about Turkey. Okay, so you can say that Turkey, for the first time after 2019, they have not mentioned Kashmir in their UNGA Assembly's address. Okay, so that is about the discussions today. We will be talking about all these things. So let's start with the first practice question. So what is the composition of Venus atmosphere primarily made of? Oxygen, nitrogen, carbon dioxide and hydrogen. Okay, so answer is option C. So when we give this practice question, so you can attempt this question and answer in the comment box, or you can, to check the answer, you can actually go through our Telegram channel, with the link is given in the description, wherein the answer will be there. Other than that, the PDF of this particular session will also be there in that Telegram group. Okay, now let's move further. We will be talking about news. Before that, I would like to make this announcement for our GS foundation courses. You can say, in case of your preparation for prelims and mains, these foundation courses are very you can say essential. Then coming to the offline mode and English medium, these courses are running, or we are starting at Lucknow Center, Prayagraj Center, Jaipur Center, Karol Bagh Center at respective dates and time. Indore Center, the course has already started. You can say admissions are open. You can directly enroll, go at the center. You can directly visit the center and enroll in the course, or you can call on this number, that is 8010440440. Okay, so you can call on this particular number, that is 8010440440. So you can get enrolled. Okay, anyways, moving further, now we will be talking about the fact of the day, or the facts of the day. If you look at the solar system's picture over here, you will be seeing that Mercury over here is the closest planet to the sun. Okay, yet the temperature of Mercury is not the highest. Okay, when we talk about the next one, that is Venus, Venus is having a higher temperature than Mercury. We have talked about that Venus is, in the last session. When we talk about Mercury over here, then why is that Mercury is different from Venus, and why is that Mercury does not have that much of a high temperature? Okay, Now see, Mercury experience extreme temperature fluctuations. Now we are saying that this experience extreme temperature fluctuation. Okay, in the day there will be a high temperature, in the night it will be a very low temperature. Okay, why is that? One thing, moving further, ranging from 800 Fahrenheit during day to minus 290 degree Fahrenheit at night. Okay, now why is that? Now when we talk about Venus, we have seen that Venus has an atmosphere. Okay, Venus has an atmosphere, and this atmosphere is mostly made up of carbon dioxide, and you can see here we have water vapors as well. Okay, and now because of which what is happening is that whatever heat is coming, that is getting trapped because of the greenhouse gas effect. Okay, now when we talk about Mercury, that is not the case, because Mercury does not have that kind of atmosphere, because when we talk about this particular planet, the gravity of Sun was so high that the atmosphere was gone. Okay, so now Mercury does not have the atmosphere, and since it does not have the atmosphere, it does not have the capacity to trap the heat. Okay, and because of which it get you can say in the day it will be getting warmer, and in the night it will be getting cooler. Okay, so that is basically, you can say, why Mercury is having such temperature fluctuations, and that is one of the reason why temperature of Venus is higher than the Mercury. Okay, so please remember that. Now moving further and looking at the discussion with respect to the constitution. Okay, we were talking about the center and states relations. Okay, that is the part 11, that is relation between union and the state. Okay, we have discussed the legislative ones. Now we will be discussing the administrative ones. Okay, now with respect to the administration, you know that administration is mostly the work of the executive or the bureaucracy. Okay, whatever law has been made, that law has to be implemented. Okay, so that is mostly the work of administration. So let's see over here. Constitution provisions related to the administrative relations, distribution of executive power. Now we have seen that we have seen the distribution of the legislative power. Similarly, there is a distribution of executive power with respect to those legislations. Okay, so whatever central government is going for the making particular law, that law will be implemented by the various state governments. And when we talk about the state governments, if state government is making a law, that will also be implemented by the state governments. Okay, so there is various, you can say, refers to the distribution outlined in the legislative list. Whatever list is there, in that particular list, whatever function is there with respect to that, the administration has to function. Okay, so when we talk about the state list, if there is something which is given in the state list, that means that state has to take care of that. Like if you talk about the law and order. Okay, now law and order is given in the state list. Now it is responsibility of the state and the state bureaucracy to make sure that there is law and order in the, you can say, that particular state. Okay, so that is the distribution of executive power. Moving further to the next, obligation of states and center. Now when we talk about state and center, you know that there are various provisions in which you will be seeing that there is a role of state as well as center. Now here you can say article 256. Now that is basically, you can say, your emergency provisions. Okay, so in that case, if you look at this, you know that center will go for, you can say, implementation of the emergency, but governor will be there. Governor will actually recommend the president, and if president thinks that the constitutional machinery is not working in a particular manner, then they can go for it. Okay, now moving further, if we talk about, sorry, that is 356. Okay, anyways, moving further, then we have 365, that is talking about the state president's rule in the states. Moving further, here you can see center's direction to the state. Okay, in article 257. Now if center is giving any kind of direction, okay, when we talk about the center's directions, that direction has to be followed by the state. Okay, in case state is not able to follow that particular direction, then center can go for the emergency provisions. Okay, so that is also there with respect to the article 256, that is emergency. Then moving further, here you can see governor appointed by the president acts as an agent of the center. Okay, now it is said that most of the time, since governor is appointed by the president and he is the, you can say, nominal head of the state, then there is this also center state relations which is working over here. Okay, its appointment is by the president, or you can say there is a role of center over here in the appointment of governor of a state. Okay, so that is also there. State election commission appointed by the governor can only be removed by the president. Again, when we talk about the elections of the panchayat and municipalities, etc., we need to have this state election commission. Now appointment will be done by the governor. That means that, you can say, somehow governor is also working on the, you can say, directions of the center sometimes. And other than that also, if we see, if governor is going for the appointment of the state election commissioners, now removal is with the president. Okay, moving further, we have integrated judicial system, we have Supreme Court, we have high courts. Okay, we have subordinate judiciary. Okay, subordinate judiciary is under the high court, and high courts are there for various states. We have different high courts, and these high courts are under, when we talk about the hierarchy, we have Supreme Court above all. That is the apex court, we can say. Okay, now Supreme Court also has the original jurisdiction with respect to the issues of center and the states. Okay, anyways, now moving further, during the emergencies. Okay, so as I told you that article is 356 for the emergency. Now here you can see article 252, national emergency. Okay, center can give executive directions on any matter. In case of national emergency, center will give the direction to the state's executive. Then moving further, here you will see, you will be seeing the article 256, president's rule, president can assume state government's function. Okay, so that is also there. Then third one is your financial emergency, center can direct state on the financial propriety and the salary deductions, etc. Now these are the emergency provisions. Now there is one more article, that is article 355. Now article 355 basically is imposing a duty on center with respect to the security of the state. Okay, so in three cases, when we talk about the external aggressions and internal disturbances, and if the constitutional machinery is not working, in such cases it is duty of center to make sure that states are protected and to make sure that the states are working under the constitutional machinery. Okay, so that is given in the article 355. And if state is giving some kind of direction to the center, and with respect to that there is the work is not done with respect to that particular direction, then again in that case also you can go for the president's rule. Okay, now in the violation of the 355, if 355 is invoked, or you can say center is trying to make sure that state is protected, but somehow it is not able to do that, then, or you can say somehow state is not taking cognizance of the directions given by the center, in that case what will happen is that again president's rule will be imposed. Okay, now all India service, if we talk about the all India service, then we have article 312. Now in case of all India service, the resolutions to be started from the Rajya Sabha. Here you can see it allows parliament to create all India services via Rajya Sabha's resolution. Okay, now Rajya Sabha is basically council of state, so again their power has been given to the council of state. Then public service commissions, we have state PCS, then we have joint PCS, etc. So here you can say appointed by the governor. When we talk about the state PCS, you can say members, etc., they are appointed by the governor, and removal require president's approval. Okay, then joint joint state public service commissions, if there are more than two states which are going to the, you can say, parliament, and they want it to create a joint public service commission, in that case parliament will go for the, you can say, appointment or the establishment of such public service commission, and members will be appointed by the president. Okay, so that is, these are certain, you can say, relations which are there with respect to state and center. Again here I would say that this is article 356 for the emergency. Anyways, now moving further, we will be starting with the clause 6 of the Assam Accord. This was given in the, you can say, yesterday's newspaper, and we have taken this article today because we could not come live yesterday. So let's see. Now CM meets AASU, that is All Assam Students Union leader, implementing 52 recommendation of the Justice Biplav Sharma Committee on safeguarding Assamese people in Assam Accord, but major 15 issues remains center's domain. Okay, now there are total, I guess, 67 recommendations has been given by the committee. Okay, now what has happened in, when we are talking about the Assam Accord, this was signed in 1985. Okay, then there was this you can say clause 6 which was there with respect to the protection of Assamese people with respect to the language, culture, etc. So, or the regional identity with respect to all these, that there was this particular protection which was given under the clause 6. Okay, for the implementation of this particular clause 6, there was this committee which has been created, okay, in 2019 by the Home Ministry, and that committee has to give a report, and committee has given a report, and they have given 67 recommendations, and out of which they are talking about implementation of 52 recommendations. Okay, and after that, when we are talking about the remaining 15, these recommendations are having, or you can say somehow they are related to the center's domain, and that is why state is not commenting on that. Okay, now coming to the issues over here, Implementation of 52 recommendation of Justice Biplab Sharma Committee regarding clause 6 of the Assam Accord announced by the Assam government earlier this month. 15 key recommendations of the committee will be implemented later, and for the time being it has been kept aside. Okay. Now here you can see the historic Assam Accord was memorandum of settlement between Rajiv Gandhi led union government and the leadership of Assam movement, that is AASU. Okay, so there was this AASU, All Assam Student Union, which was there, and under the leadership of them there was this Assam movement which was there, and there was this settlement with the Rajiv Gandhi government and the leaders of this AASU. Now that settlement was basically your Assam Accord that was signed in 1985. Okay. And in that clause 6 was added. Okay, that is basically constitutional, legislative and administrative safeguards as may be appropriate shall be provided to protect, preserve and promote culture, social, linguistic identity and the heritage of the Assamese people. So for the people of Assam there was some kind of safeguards which has been given. Now how this particular clause will be implemented, okay, what kind of safeguard you want to give, for that there was this committee which was, you can say, initiated or established by the Union Home Minister at that point of time in July 2019. 14 member committee chaired by Justice Biplab Kumar Sharma was you can say constituted. Here you can say it was comprising various judges, retired bureaucrats, writers, AASU leaders and journalists. Okay, so basically they try to cover many stakeholders and so that they can come up with a better plan. Okay. Now here they have come up with the definition of Assamese, because in the clause 6 it is written that it is for the Assamese people. Now who are Assamese people for this particular you can say clause 6 point of view? So sorry, patch. Sorry. Anyway, so who will be these Assamese people who will be getting the benefits of these particular safeguards? Okay, for that they have actually come up with the definition over here. Okay. So that is one thing, definition of the Assamese people eligible for the safeguards. Okay. Report was given in February 2020 and now we are talking about the implementation of that particular report after 4 years. Okay. Now the report was received by the Assam Chief Minister, though the, you can say, committee was constituted by the Home Ministry, but the report was received by the Assam's Chief Minister, and in that report, as I told you, there are various you can say recommendation which was made. Over here they have written that there are 67 broad recommendations has been made, under which 40 are with respect to the state's purview. Okay. 12 are with respect to, you can say both state and center are having some kind of stake, so kind of concurrent in nature. Okay, both state and center, and then there are 15 which are exclusively for the center. Okay, so they are kept out of the implementation purview as of now. Okay, and these 52 we are being talked about. Okay. Now definition of Assamese people for the purpose of implementing the clause 6 should include indigenous tribes. So basically they have given the definition, and who will they include? First, indigenous tribes, other indigenous communities of Assam, Indian citizens residing in the territory of Assam on or before January 1st, 1951 and their descendants and the indigenous Assamese people. Okay, so these are the people who will be the part of these benefits which are received under the safeguard under clause 6. Okay. Now recommendation of the reservation for the Assamese people including parliament, state assemblies, local bodies and jobs. Okay, so these are certain things which has been prominently recommended by this particular committee. First is the definition of the people. They have given a cutoff date, that is January 1st, 1951. And if someone is living over there after this particular date, then they will be benefited by this. Okay. Now here they have said that there are certain recommendations which are made with respect to the land, language, culture, heritage, and there are certain things which they have left out. Okay. Anyway, so let's see first. Background of the clause 6, we have already seen that Assam Accord was signed in 1985, and then after that the purpose was to clause 6 purpose was to protect, preserve and promote culture, social and linguistic identity and heritage of the Assamese people. Now the issue was, who are these Assamese people for the purpose of clause 6? So for that they have actually gone for a constitution of a committee in July 2019, and 2020 they have given the report. In that report they have given 67 recommendations, 52 of them are being talked about for the implementation and rest are there for the center's consideration. Okay. Now core provision, it promised constitutional, legislative and the administrative safeguards for the Assamese people. Okay. Now moving further, let's see what kind of recommendations are there with respect to land. Okay, So they have said that there should be a special revenue circle. Only Assamese people can own and transfer the land. Okay, in that particular area, only Assamese people can own and transfer the land. Okay. Second, land titles. Those people who are holding the, you can say, possession of a particular property and they do not have the document yet, so they will be given the document. Okay, a time bound program to provide land titles to Assamese people who have been occupying land for decades but lack documentation. Okay, moving further, river erosion affected people. Now those people who are actually, because of the river erosion or the floods, they have been, you know, facing some difficulties, they will be given, or they have become homeless, they will be given the land titles or the land for their, you can say, livelihood. Okay, priority for the allotment of the government land for those affected by the river erosion. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now moving further, there are other recommendations as well. So language safeguard. So official language, they have said Assamese to remain the official language in the state with provisions for the local languages in the specific areas like Barak Valley, hill districts and Bodoland. In these particular areas, there will be regional languages which can be used for the purpose. Now government acts, all state government act rules order to be issued in the Assamese alongside English. Okay, so they will be using the Assamese language in the works of the government as well. Now Assamese in school, make Assamese a compulsory subject up to class 8 or class 10 in English in all English medium schools under the state and CBSE boards. Okay. So these are the recommendations with respect to the language. Then moving further, cultural heritage, Satras. You know that there was this saint Sankara Deva. Okay, so he has actually established the concept of Satra. He established a new sect, that is Neo Vaishnavism. Okay, so these Satras are basically their monasteries. Okay, so here you can say establishment of an autonomous authority for the development of the Satras, including the financial assistance. Okay, cultural complexes. Here you can say creation of multi-purpose cultural complexes in each district to uplift the heritage of the ethnic group. So these are the recommendations which has been made by the committee. Okay, and they will be implementing it. Recommendations included, as I told you, there are 15 sensitive recommendations which are there. They have excluded them for the center's consideration. Now when we are talking about what are these areas, so there are some of them we have discussed over here. One is inner line permit. Okay, inner line permit with respect to, similarly such permits are there in the Manipur as well. Okay, we have discussed that when we talk about the Manipur, if you look at the geography of Manipur, it is something like that. And this is the valley region. Okay, and this area is the hilly region. So there is this system of inner line permit for those people who are living in this valley. They cannot take land, or they cannot own the land in the hilly region, because there are various tribes which are living over here. Okay. On the other hand, these hilly people can have the land in the valley region. Okay, and to move, any person who want to visit in this particular area, there is this inner line permit system which was dated way back from the, you can say, Britishers time. Okay, so that is there. Similar demand has been, or similar recommendation has been given by the committee over here. Inner line permit similar to the other northeastern states. 80 to 100% reservation for the Assamese people in parliament, assembly, local elections and the government jobs. Okay, so that is one more recommendation which was there. Creation of upper house in Assam, legislative council fully reserved for Assamese people. Okay, so these are certain things which has been excluded from the recommendation as of now. Reason for exclusion, because for them they require, you can say, constitutional amendment. The Assam government plans to discuss this with the center. Okay, so I hope that is clear. This is about the clause 6 of the Assam Accord and the recommendations and how many of them has been implemented and why others are not being implemented. Now moving further to the next one. Assets of only 13% of the High Court judges in public domain, most from the 3 courts. Okay, which are the 3 courts? Mostly you can say, when we are talking about this particular, you can say 3 courts. One is basically your Kerala. Kerala has the highest number of you can say High Court judges, which has actually declared their, you can say, assets. Okay, so let's see over here why this particular issue was in news. So of the 749 judges currently shown as posted in 25 high courts across India, the assets of only 98 are available in the public domain through the declaration posted on the official website of the institution. Just 13% of the total number. We have total serving judges, that is 749 in the 25 high courts. Okay, out of which only 98 judges, that is 13% of all judges, they have actually declared their assets on the website. Okay. The Kerala High Court tops with the details of 37 out of 39 available on its website. Then we have Punjab and Haryana, which has actually gone for the uploading you can say assets of the judges, but still this number is not very high. Okay. So here you can say High Court has uploaded information of 31 of the 55 judges, and Delhi High Court has posted you can say details of 11 of 39. Okay. So basically when we talk about the Punjab and Haryana High Court, that is basically a Chandigarh. Okay. So basically from that High Court there are total 55 judges. Of them they have actually declared 31 judges assets, and then when we talk about Delhi, out of 39 only 11 has gone for the declaration of the assets. Now they are movable, immovable properties along with the properties of their spouse, okay, and the dependents. Okay. So all these properties will be declared over there. Other than that, their you can say investment can also be declared, their jewelry possession etc. can should be declared. Now the thing is, all these things were actually made, you can say the provision for the declaration has been made by a Supreme Court resolution, but later it was said that it is a kind of a voluntary activity. Okay. So someone who wants to do it, they can, otherwise they not needed to be. Okay. So here shares, mutual funds, fixed deposit, bonds, insurance policies, liabilities such as bank loan, all these things should be uploaded over here. Now Supreme Court posted a list on official website. Out of total 33 judges, 27 has declared their you can say assets before the Chief Justice of India through, although only their names are provided and not details of these assets has not been declared. Okay. So basically in case of Supreme Court, 27 judges has declared the asset. Supreme Court website has it is been declaring or saying that there are 27 judges who has actually declared the, you can say, assets, but how many assets and what kind of assets are there, that declaration has not been made on the official website. Now what are the reason that they are not willing to do it? So most of the cases they are saying that this is a private information. Okay. So first is your right to privacy, one is there. Second thing is, when we talk about the right to information, under which when we talk about the information part, that does not cover the Supreme Court judges and the High Court judges, or this particular information which is there, that is not you can say information or a public information under the terms of the RTI. Okay. Now here you can say public disclosure is purely on the voluntary basis. That is one thing. Of the country, the RTI require RTI queries sought to know about the reason for not posting this information on the public domain. So there are various high courts has made various different comments. Okay. So here the Allahabad High Court, which is the, you can say, country's largest court, okay, with 84 judges, and the Bombay High Court, they have said that these are not covered under the definition of information under the RTI Act. Okay. So that is one argument. Second, when we talk about the Uttarakhand High Court, that has strongly objected to bring disclosure of the assets by the judges under the preview of right to information. Okay. Then does not find any large public interest for the disclosure of the personal information. Okay. So they are saying that this is personal information, and how will public get you can say benefited by this. Then as the declaration of the asset is confidential, the said information cannot be furnished. Okay. So again the issue of privacy and the confidentiality is which is there. Okay. In 1997, there was this resolution which has been adopted by the Supreme Court, saying that every judge should make declaration of all assets in the form of real estate or investment held in their name, in the name of their spouse or any other personal dependent on them, okay, to the Chief Justice. Then in 2009, another resolution was there, that is full court of Delhi High Court stated that all the judges are agreeable to make their asset public. Then when we are talking about the next 2009, there was this full bench of Supreme Court resolved the declaration, you can say resolved to declare the judges assets on official website or before the, you can say, October 31, 2009, adding that it was purely on the voluntary basis. So last resolution which was there with respect to the full bench of Supreme Court, which is saying that it is on the basis of, you can say it is on the voluntary basis. Or you can say this was all, or you can say the legal mandate behind that is just a resolution by courts. Okay. Now we can move further to the next one, that is talking about the 2 years of the project Cheetah, status report and the road ahead. Now when we talk about the Cheetah, you know that there are two phases in which cheetahs were brought to India. One, you can say there were 12 cheetahs which were there from Namibia, and then 8 cheetahs which were brought from, I guess, South Africa. Okay, correct me if I am wrong. Anyways, South Africa and the Namibia. Okay. So they have been put into the Kuno National Park. Earlier it was decided that for 1 month there will be quarantine, and after 2-3 months they will be set into wild. But it has been 2 years and there are only 2 cheetahs which has actually gone outside the Kuno's premises, or you can say enclosure, outside the enclosure of the, you can say, these cheetahs. Other cheetahs are still inside the enclosure. Now there are certain experts which are saying that if a cheetah is in a particular enclosure for like 3 to 4 months, in that case they have to be released. One thing, you should not keep them more than 3 months inside the enclosure, or other case is there, if they are actually being kept more than 3 months, then they should be euthanized. Okay, so euthanasia is kind of a term which is for the, you can say, there is some kind of help in killing which should be there. There are various reasons behind that, but the thing is, the idea is that you should not keep a wild animal like cheetah or the carnivores like cheetah inside the enclosure more than 3 months. Okay. Now let's see what is about this Project Cheetah. Why we have introduced Project Cheetah? Because India did not have the population of cheetahs, and that is why they have been reintroduced from African continent, and then we wanted that their population to grow in India. Okay, so total 20 cheetahs were bought. Okay, after that, when we are talking about, there was this birth of 17 cubs. Okay, out of which 5 died, and there are 12 cubs which is there. Okay, 8 cheetahs died out of these 20. So now we have 12 cubs plus 12 adults, okay, which are still there. Recently 2 more cheetahs were there which has actually gone outside the Kuno premises. One of them died in a suspicious condition because he was found down to the water. Okay, so anyways, so it was, you can say, there was this controversy, or you can say there was this discourse that this particular area is not feasible for cheetahs. So the government or the ministry is saying that there is nothing like that, but they are trying to do their best. Second thing is, there is a problem of prey. Okay, the cheetahs are not in the kind of amount they should be, okay, in that particular area. So that is the problem which is there. Now after this particular project, we can say that it is a marginal success. Okay, here you can say 24 cheetahs survived. Now there are 2 things over here. One thing is that they have been kept in the enclosure. Second thing is that there are 20 cheetahs which was introduced, there were 17 new cubs. Okay, so that means that there was a marginal success which was there. Now 8 cheetahs has died because of various conditions. Okay, so that is here where you can say that we have you can say failed. Okay, moving further, this is about the cheetahs. Enclosure we have already talked about, and we have seen birth of 17 cubs and 8 have died, and out of 17 cubs 5 have perished, and currently 24 cheetahs are there, 12 adults and the 12 cubs. Okay, in the next batch we are planning to bring more cheetahs, 6 to 8 cheetahs from Africa to the Gandhi Sagar. Okay, till now we were talking about the Kuno. Now Gandhi Sagar Wildlife Sanctuary is there in Madhya Pradesh. Okay, Kuno is also there in the Madhya Pradesh, and now they are trying to bring 6 to 8 cheetahs from you can say Africa again. Now cheetah is still not in the wild, as I told you that these cheetahs should not be kept in the enclosure. Earlier the plan was to keep them for 1 or 2 months. And when we talk about the Namibian experts, they have also said that they should not be kept inside the enclosure more than 3 months. Okay, but still, if we talk about you can say current conditions, these are still in the enclosure. Okay, so that is not very good signal over here. Problem of inadequate prey, which we have already seen. The density of cheetah which it should be, that is not there in this particular area. Other thing is, there is the competition from the leopards in this particular area. Okay, so there are these you can say 24 cheetahs which are there. Other than that, there are these leopards which are roaming in that particular area. So considering all these things, the prey base is not very good. Okay, moving road ahead. Free ranging cheetahs often venture for far and wide, crossing state boundaries and entering into human habitat. When we talk about the free ranging cheetah, if you keep them out of the enclosure, they will be going for you can say exploring the whole landscape. Okay, once they explore the whole landscape, and then they will decide where they want to live. Okay, so let's see. If there is this Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary, we have Gandhi Sagar over here, then we have Rajasthan's forest ranges over here. Cheetahs are kept here in the Kuno. When 2 cheetahs were actually kept out of the enclosure, they have reached up to Rajasthan. They have crossed the areas of Kuno, they have gone to Rajasthan. Okay, so we can say that these cheetahs are free ranging animals. They will explore the area, then they will settle. Okay, so that is why the way forward is go for the interstate you can say conservation. Okay, So basically we have to make sure that there are corridors between these things, and then we have to talk with the other state governments as well, because this is under the Rajasthan government and these two are under the Madhya Pradesh government. So that is the way forward with respect to Cheetah. Aim is to conserve the interstate Kuno Gandhi Sagar landscape, which includes several forest patches outside the sanctuaries, parks and tiger reserves spread over the parts of Madhya Pradesh and Rajasthan. Way forward is to establish a population of 60 to 70 cheetahs in this region. Okay, that is a Herculean task, but when we talk about this particular project, the whole idea was to increase the population of these cheetahs. Okay, now let's move further to the next one. Biased, motivated, Karnataka withdraws the general consent to CBI. Recently, there was this trend that there are various, you can say, opposition states which are actually withdrawing the general consent which has been given to CBI. Okay, so there are various states like Punjab, Jharkhand, Kerala, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh, West Bengal, Mizoram. These are some states which has actually withdrawn the consents from the CBI. Okay. Now, when we talk about the working of the CBI, you know that that is under the Delhi Establishment, you can say Special Establishment Police Act is there. Considering that the working of CBI is such that when CBI has to go and investigate in a particular state, they have to take the consent from the state. Okay. Now, for every case they need this particular consent. So, most of the time what happens or what it is witnessed that the state will give a general consent. Okay, a general consent that you don't have to ask for consent again and again. If you have the general consent, you can come and do your investigation and go ahead. Okay, so that is there. So there are certain you can say states which has given these particular general consent, and recently they are been withdrawing it. Okay, so that is the passing reference to this particular article. Okay, now moving further. When we talk about the international relations, first time since 2019, Erdogan skips the mention of Kashmir in UN speech. You know that Erdogan, when we talk about, so he is basically president of Turkey or Turkey. Okay. So since 2019, he has been talking about Kashmir again. We know that abrogation of you can say partial abrogation of Article 370 was there. With respect to that, he has actually said various things with respect to the people of Kashmir and the peace and stability, dialogue and diplomacy, all these things. But the thing is, this time he has not. Okay, why is that? Because BRICS summit is about to happen. Okay, when we talk about this BRICS summit, it is about to be happen, and they want to be member of BRICS. Okay, India is a founding member. Okay, and that is why they are being cautious about it. Okay, so for the first time since the abrogation of Article 370 in 2019, Turkey President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has not mentioned the issue of Kashmir in the speech in the UNGA. Okay, Turkey is keen on joining the BRICS. India is one of the founding member. Erdogan is expected to attend the summit in Kazan, Russia next month. Mr. Putin has said that he will be attending if actually when we talk about this particular summit that is happening in Russia this time. Okay, and Vladimir Putin has invited them. Okay, now when we talk about the founding members, we know that Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, they are basically the founding member, decided last year to expand the grouping. Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, United Arab Emirates, these are certain you can say members will be joining from the 2024. Okay, so that is their expected members, or you can say when we talk about the Turkey, we are expecting them to join. Other than that, here you can see Vladimir Putin expected Erdogan to attend the BRICS summit in Russia next month after Turkey requested to join the group of emerging economies. Okay, if admitted, Turkey will become the first NATO country to be part of this particular group. Now, when we talk about the membership over here, you will be seeing, okay, these are the founding members. Okay, and then when we talk about the Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran and UAE, they will be becoming members, you can say, and now there are other members which are keen to join, that is Saudi Arabia, Argentina, and when we talk about Turkey, all these members are keen to join, you can say, BRICS summit. Okay, now moving further, contour of redeployment possible after next round of military talks. India, China makes progress on the pending LAC issues. in the eastern Ladakh. Okay, disengagement on one part is a problem, one part of the problem, and main issue is patrolling. Now these are the two things. One thing is they are saying that yes, we are having some kind of progress with respect to the talks which are going on, the LAC, the issue after the Galwan issue, there are this military and the diplomacy level talks which are going on. Okay, so we are saying that there is some kind of progress which is there, which has been acknowledged by the Chinese side as well. Okay, so here you can see both sides explore the solution that factors pre-standoff positions to address the issues in Arunachal Pradesh as well. Now coming to the areas over here, fiction points, you can see Galwan Valley, north and south bank of the Pangong Tso Lake, Gogra Hot Spring. These are the issues which were, you can say, kind of recent, and there are areas like Depsang Plains, Demchok. These are the legacy issues which are already there from the long time. Okay. Now coming to the map, if you look at, so there are when we talk about the LAC, that is basically or border between India and China, that is divided in three different sectors. Okay, one is your western sector or the western side. Okay, that is having the Ladakh range. Okay, now when we talk about the Ladakh range, you know that there is this part, that is Aksai chain, which has been illegally occupied by China. Okay, so de facto China has the possession as of now. Then you will be seeing that aggression is mostly seen on this part. Okay, and then the second part, that is the Arunachal side over here. When we talk about the three different parts, one is your western side, then we have the middle side or the middle sector, that is the Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh area, and then Sikkim and the part of Arunachal Pradesh. These are the areas which are basically there with respect to the you can say eastern side. Okay, now why is that the issues are mostly prevalent in the areas of the Arunachal Pradesh and the areas of Ladakh, okay, and not on the areas of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand? Okay, because now they have said that there is the issue of patrolling as well. Okay, now why patrolling? Because we do not have the demarcated border yet. Okay, and that is why some of our side's soldiers are going for the patrolling, some of their side's soldiers are also going for the patrolling. So let's see what is happening is that this is your LAC somewhere somehow like this. Okay, now our side people are going over here, and then they are seeing that Chinese people has put some mark in our territories. Then they will remove those marks and they will put marks in the Chinese territory. So that kind of you can say things are happening over there, and sometimes there can be a direct encounter. Okay, and because of which these things are happening over here. That is one thing. Second thing is, why is that these aggressions are happening? Because these are the remote areas. Okay, remote or low density population area. Since these are low density population areas, there are no people who can say that this is the part of India. Okay, so that is the issue over here. Similarly, Arunachal Pradesh, the northern part, these are having a harsh geography, and because of which there is this problem. Now coming to this particular part of Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand, because since these are highly dense areas, there are people who are living over there, so obviously they will be identifying themselves as Indian, and that is why China could not have very much strong holds over these particular areas. Okay, so I hope that is clear. Now moving to the next one. Israel rejects US based Lebanon truce proposal. You know that Israel and Lebanon on the northern border of the Israel, they are these fightings which are going on, or you can say there are these you can say some issues, or you can say these particular attacks which has been done over there, and Hezbollah is quite active on the northern borders of the Israel. So considering that all these things are happening over here, Israel rejected the proposal on Thursday for a ceasefire between Hezbollah, and they conducted military exercise simultaneously in the Lebanon. Okay, so basically they are not going for the ceasefire. USA has proposed a ceasefire in this particular area, but they are not going for it, and Israel is relentlessly pressure on Iran-backed Hezbollah. This Hezbollah group which is there, that is a group which is there in Lebanon, and it is supported by Iran, which we have talked about earlier as well. Okay, including intense airstrikes and the assassination of some of its senior commanders, raised concern that this will mount to a ground invasion, which would lead to a wider war in this particular area. Now Israel is already having a war in the Gaza. Okay, and now this is the second front they are opening in Lebanon. Okay, moving further. Message to China as Japan destroyers sail via Taiwan Strait for the first time. Now here you can see this is your Taiwan Strait, this is the Taiwan as an island, and this is Taiwan Strait. The Japan is there, and Japan has particularly, there was this you can say destroyer, which is basically going through this particular area along with the, you can say, some other vessels of Australia and New Zealand. Okay. Now, why it is happening? Because China is being quite aggressive in this particular region, and Japan has decided to show their own strength in this particular region. Okay. Now, there is this one island, that is Senkaku Island, which is disputed between Japan and China, you know that. Other than that also, this area is quite, in this particular area, China is showing a quite a prominence. Okay. So, to counter that Japan has gone for some kind of exercise over here. Okay. Japan's self-defense force sailed through the Taiwan Strait for the first time in a historic move that angered Beijing and marked the latest tussle between the neighbors, accusing each other of the escalation tensions in the region. HDF destroyer, that is Sazanami, entered the Taiwan Strait from the East China Sea. Okay, so this is your East China Sea and this is your Taiwan Strait. The transit was conducted in concert with the naval ships from the Australia and the New Zealand. Three nations' navies were scheduled to hold a joint exercise in the South China Sea. Okay, Japan has responded to step up the Chinese military activity in with a defense build-up. Says that it aims to deter Beijing from using military force to push its its territorial claims in the region. Okay, so that is why they are basically this particular exercise is supposed to happen in South China Sea. So they have actually crossed through Taiwan Strait. Okay. Other than that, if we talk about, so there is this, China is having this one China policy. So they are saying that we have gone from the, you can say, areas of Taiwan. Okay. So China is saying that Taiwan is part of China. Okay. So this is some kind of geopolitical issue which is going on over here. So that is there. Moving further, passing reference we can give that China has conducted a rare ICBM test launching into the Pacific Ocean. Other than that, Dholera chip unit. Now there is this chip manufacturing unit which is you can say being built up in the Dholera. Okay, with the help of you can say here we have Tata Sons and the Taiwan based companies, their manufacturing firm is there, which are building Dholera chip unit. Okay, so that is there. Moving further, the World Tourism Day. Let's make this journey. When we are talking about the World Tourism Day, that is basically today. Okay, so here you can see this is the picture. The idea of this particular slide is to show you this particular picture. That is the picture of Sadashiv. Okay, and that is there in the Elephanta Caves, which is there in Maharashtra. Okay, so Elephanta Island, on a particular island, these caves are there. That is your, you can say, Elephanta Caves. Okay, now Elephanta Caves, a UNESCO World Heritage Site near Mumbai. These 6th century rock cut caves showcase India's artistic heritage. Centerpiece is the 7-meter Sadashiv sculpture which is there, depicting Shiva as the creator, preserver and destroyer. So here you can say there are 3 faces which are there. So that is why it is called Sadashiv, creator, preserver and the destroyer. Caves are a stunning example of the India's rock cut architecture. Okay, so please keep a note on that, because some things which are in news, there are tendency that they can be asked in the examination. Okay, so Sadashiv sculptures. Now for your own read, there are 2 articles, Biden and India US ties. We have discussed all these things in various components and they have actually given you a good article over here, so you can go through this. And CAFE. Now this particular scarf which is there, that is called as CAFE, and right now that is been news. Okay, so here you can go through this particular article to understand why it was in news. In the end, there is this practice question: when was Assam Accord signed? 1975, 1985, 1995 or 2005. Okay, so you can attempt these questions and answer to me in the comment box. With that, I would like to take your leave. If you have not subscribed the channel, please subscribe it. Have a nice day. Thank you.